Is QG actually copying a couple of mid lane bans here? Doinb unable to play the Victor or the Cassid in this game.
The classic coach lean.
Yeah, making sure that they get the coach lean for both sides.
I feel like they looked over, is he leaning? Okay, I gotta lean.
Yeah, no, it's important to have one arm in, one arm out as well, Frostgrim. If you're ever thinking about being a coach, that is how you do it.
If I was ever a coach, I think I've done that a few times.
Look, we're not taught you're a caster, okay?
I'm a caster now, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be doing the coachy thing. Oh my goodness. Rise has made his way through. EDG locked that one in straight away. As you can see, the coach reactions on both sides. Aaron's like, yep, okay, we're into it. Don't worry, guys. Azir, of course, was the final ban there from QG as everything sort of raced through from that stage on. V thinking about denying Koro's Hecarim, grabbing his for himself.
It was the coach lean. That's how we got the Rise first pick.
Exactly. You got to make sure you lean over.
The surprise. We did it, boys. Okay. See what the answer is. Typically with EDG picking up the Rise, I suspect that it's going to be a Maokai in the top lane, although V could prove me wrong and go back to his Hecarim comfort.
Well, look, we also, here in the Oceanic region, understand that Banner of Command Hecarim, a
Minty
fantastic
whale.
choice into the Rise. We'll see whether that comes through. As Swift, considering taking away Evelyn from Clearlove, would be an interesting choice, especially with the Rek'Sai on the table. The Clearlove is fantastic at playing. It is going to be locked away, and V's going to grab the Annie, so already QG changing things up. We'll see what EDG respond with.
Taking away that Evelyn. I would love to see Clearlove pick up his Rek'Sai just because it's the direct counter due to how the Tremor Sense is going to work on Evelyn's stealth. But I feel like it's about to be a Gragas with that Yasuo.
Could be the Gragas Yasuo here, as Clearlove is now hovering it. Pawn hovering it as well. Pawn hovered it in the last game at the same time. Not entirely sure whether that's what he's going to be locking in here, but Rek'Sai has a knock-up as well, Frostgrim.
Yeah, but Gragas is like, he's got the hard engage, he's got the disengage. Okay. Yep,
that's a Sivir. So Deft is just going to lock away the Sivir here as well. Probably wanting to deny the Annie-Sivir combo, which is just very, very frightening.
And likewise, we'll give him the spell shield to protect him against the Tibbers.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
It is going to go ahead and be that Rek'Sai, and that's one of the scary things about picking Evelyn so early. Likewise, Twisted Fate is still available, and we've seen that used as a direct counter from unlimited potential against EDG. But the idea is that when you're in a Tremor Sense and Eve's walking around, he can see you. Yeah,
she can't actually see much more, of course. The Tremor Sense, when you're underground, means that your vision not going to be very far, but you don't need it, because Evelyn's going to be wandering around. She's not going to be visible anyway, so that's absolutely fine. V, considering once again locking away that Hecarim as TNT, I'm going to go under one of his aggressive choices in the Lucian here.
I still feel like Qiao Gu should really consider the Maokai. Not that V isn't a fantastic Hecarim player, it's one of his primary carry champions. He has been able to carry from the top lane with that horse. But Maokai's ultimate and what it does to cancel out a lot of Rise's damage is really key. It's going to lock in Hecarim.
Yeah, he's already locked it away here as TNT clocks a tickin', is going to lock away the Lucian as well. So see how the Annie Lucian lane does on that bottom side. Or Doinb, he could actually pick up that Annie in the mid lane. Who knows what could happen here as Deft hovering over Meiko's Janna. And we'll see what pawn decides to take into the mid lane as well.
Lulu?
Could potentially be. Of course, they already
taking
have
it away
two
from
threats.
Doinb.
Yeah.
Because Qiao Gu like to run a comp similar to what SKT do with Bang on Lucian and Faker on Lulu.
Yeah.
And just to really empower. That said, they wouldn't have the Janna. It is going to be the Annie this time around. But Doinb is a fantastic Lulu player, so it would just be a direct denial. Likewise, what Swift was doing to Clearlove on his Evelyn.
Yeah, Pawn also a fantastic Lulu player in his own right as well. Very, very strong on that hero, and you can add a little bit more utility when you do have...
Please.
Oh my goodness, Def. Don't you play with our hearts like that.
I'll get it one day.
Yeah, Lulu is going to be locked in here, and the Janna is going to be the response as well. So lots of augmentation for both of these massive hyper carries in the Rise and the Sivir. Not necessarily used to calling Sivir a hyper carry with that short range, but can get a lot of damage down.
I completely space Sivir with Rise. This is incredibly important. Okay, so the number one thing about Rise is that he doesn't have any gap closers. He has a 600 range long snare, and a big issue for Lucian is that if Lucian is ever in any damage threat to hit Rise, Rise can grab him.
Yeah.
Because he has a longer snare range. So what you do is you augment Rise with Sivir. They work perfectly together because Sivir's on the hunt is going going to empower Ryze to just run up and murder you. Likewise, Janna with her Tailwind. When Janna used to have
and Lulu with a Whimsy.
Exactly. When Janna used to have her global Tailwind passive, I believe her win rate with Ryze was significantly higher than any other champion. It's just beautiful synergy here. I was looking at Deft. I was like, wow, they're really empowering Deft. Nope, it's all about Koro.
Yeah, make sure you can get Koro there in a position to carry. And of course, we were talking about this before. Any member of EDG that gets money is going to be able to carry this game out. And it looks like a lot of the cards into the Ryze back pocket.
The ball delivery system, though, from Qiao Gu. They're still looking for the 5v5.
Yeah, V able to canter along in there, use that Onslaught of Shadows to make sure that the ball can be in the right position.
Trot in.
Yeah. A lot of dressage going on here. We'll see what Skinny decides to take onto the Rift.
So glad that you know that vocabulary.
Don't tell anyone.
You know I used to do that, right?
Did you really?
Yes.
You're a dressage person.
Yeah, a horse person is, I think, what they say nicely in high school.
Ah, okay, a horse person. Not sure whether that's super nice here as we are going to go through the lineups. Ryze into the Hecarim. Of course, both of these champions do like to scale into that late game, as Clearlove is going to be taking the Rek'Sai into the Evelyn here. Swift might have a little bit of trouble staying invisible with that guy on the map, and Pawn reaching out to us there with the Lulu, as Doinb is going to take the Orianna there. Equal amounts of utility and damage available for both of those ones, but of course the Shockwave being a little bit more impactful than that Wild Growth as far as damage is concerned, and I'm excited to see how this bottom lane goes at the same time.
Again, finalizing up, it's going to be Mako versus TCT, Janna versus Annie. And,
the classic forward versus
backwards.
Yeah.
I always look at TNT's haircut. I'm like, that's the next one. Got the green, got the pink, going for the purple next.
Yeah, that's your next decision. Okay, well, we'll see about Frostgren's hair, but for now, let's get into game. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for Game 2 between EDG and QG. EDG coming out with a victory in the end. Of course, I was going to say decisive, but QG were able to claw their way back for the last few minutes of that one before EDG did manage to get the ace and win the game. We'll see whether they can control more of the map this time around. And so far, things looking defensive as a start. We might have standard lanes once more.
And again, EDG kind of defining themselves as being much about the dragon control area as well as their wave manipulation. They do empower themselves having Sivir on their team.
Yeah. So
we'll see if they continue with the same strategy, if they're going to try to meet Qiao Gu head-to-head in these 5v5s. Have to watch out for the Wombo combo, though.
Yeah, massive Wombo combo, of course. EDG more about just getting that Ryze into a position to get a heap of AoE damage down, but especially the single target CC that is going to come out of this Ryze in order to lock down a priority target and move on to the next one. And with the amount of augmentation that they do have with the Janna and the Lulu,
just think of the shields on Ryze's passive, the fact that he's going to get a natural shield built into his CDR, and then you have the Janna shield on top of it, as well as the Wild Growth and the Help Picks.
Silly.
I want a point where Ryze is just unkillable. He's got like 25 HP, but he just keeps resetting.
I'm excited for it as well.
We do have a bit of a lane swap going on, though. So this is pretty classic. What TNT did is he stepped forward and he made sure that he placed down a ward where he thought that he would be spotted out before backing into Fog of War and then making the trek across map. So he is going to dodge the Sivir Janna. See what he chooses to do here.
Well, actually, Deft and Mako just going to head towards this blue buff. Swift has to flash already back towards his base as this blue has been completely stopped. And Swift now with no flash has to now reattempt this blue buff.
And the reason that they did that is because they saw that Lucian and TCT had committed top. TCT, of course, stepping very quickly and very far forward into the lane, so might as well go in and at least drop a ward on the buff to make sure you figure out where the jungle started. When they got in there, they saw that they were actually doing the camp and decided to punish them. But again, making that call knowing that it's just the top laner and the jungler and that the bot lane wouldn't be there to assist them.
And B now continuing with the double jungle here as well. The first buff going to go down for QG, but already Clearlove has cleared out that whole side of the map by himself as well, as Koro is just going to go for the 2v1.
I mean, really what this is going to do is just slow down Swift's clear as well as kind of punish any sort of early aggression, naturally, because Evelyn's very dependent on that flash for any of her kill pressure since she doesn't have any, sort of gap closer built in herself. Likewise, it will slow down V, so also an advantage given to Koro.
Yeah, Fawn just shoving this wave here as well in the mid. The Glitterlance is going to be his MO this game. He's going to be able to use that ball to get things done as well. So we need to be careful here. Does have the smite though, so he's going to get a bunch of health back. You can see that Rabbit's going to help out as well. So he's going to get that level 3, take down that blue as well. I'm
actually really surprised that Clearlove didn't choose to immediately invade, having the information given to or where Swift and V were, especially because Mako then made the rotation at 2 minutes 15 seconds to walk back up and to assist Koro. I feel like that was a missed opportunity from EDG to be really punishing.
I guess it was the fact that V wasn't in a lane just yet as well. The fact that Koro was there in that 2v1 situation meant that he probably wouldn't be able to rotate around as well, but I'm only spitballing here. And Def going to hold this wave away from the horse.
Again, continuing to be fairly conservative in how they go about acquiring their leads versus pedal to the metal. Yeah.
Very different style. As actually they're starting some aggression here on the top side of the map. The 2v2 of the Ryze Janna into the Annie Lucian.
Here comes Swift though. Got 3v3.
We do. Clearlove's here as well. There was a pink ward in the river, so they know that there's no Evelyn coming in throughout the bottom side. Nice if you're going to get TCT nice and low.
It is important though that Clearlove is in his his burrowed form, so as soon as Swift moves close enough, he will get the call.
Yeah. Both of these junglers being very patient. There's the Rune Prison. Koro almost managed to bait Swift out of hiding there for a moment. As he moved forward, I believe there were pings. EDG did ping out the Evelyn. So Clearlove still staying around, still understanding that his help will be needed here as QG are looking for that first blood here on the top side of the map. Swift making his way over. Tremor Sense is being pinged out. He could actually just knock him up right now as Koro's going to get caught. Immediately flashes out the double knockup from Clearlove though as Swift gets exhausted. He's taken down so incredibly low. The heal came through, but that's first blood for the Ryze as Koro uses the last of his mana to lock that kill down. And so much patience from both of these junglers ends up paying off for EDG.
And this is why you don't pick Evelyn that early. Rek'Sai, so strong in the current meta. Direct counter, that's how it works with the Tremor Sense. They knew she was there, they waited for the perfect positioning. More importantly, Clearlove unburrowing into 2 members of Qiao Gu.
Yeah, stuns up from TCT, nice Howling Gale from Mako there, but Koro completely out of mana. Just going to burn TCT with a little bit of that red buff.
Swift just not having a good time this game.
Oh, Deft actually turns it around in the bottom lane, and V unable to best the turret. That was so close.
Why was he diving without his wave even on the tower, though? He must have caught Deft out in the middle of the lane and then just thought he could trade 1 for 1.
He's a stallion, okay? Don't hold him back.
Galloping to failure.
Yeah, unfortunately. But look, it's the thought that counts.
No.
It's actually not.
Bust.
That's about like a birthday present for your mom. That's when the thought counts. Not when you're playing a game of League of Legends.
But just the fact that he had to chase, it must have broken out in the middle of the lane, 'cause otherwise you would never chase into the creep wave like that. Definitely. That's really unfortunate. Good job from Def, though, to make sure he hit the boomerang to survive that, and then, of course, the dangerous game. Okay, so yep, you go to play-by-play.
Yeah, well, look, it's the replay. But we did see the very end of it. We knew what was going to happen here. Don't know what's going to happen now, though. TCT was forced to use his flash to get out. Clearlove making another visit towards this top side. Sweeps out a cute little ward there. Going to make his way through. Not sure whether he'll grab a Scuttle Crab, see whether that's available. Don't know whether it is, as Def now knows that he can best this Hecarim.
And Clearlove's able to spend so much time in the top lane, not only because that's where he has primary kill pressure, of course having that Ryze, but more importantly, that there's no way...
Here's a Lulu, and Fawn just comes through, walks behind the turret, and picks up an easy kill.
But
there's like another day in the office.
There's no way that Qiao Gu can compete with the resources being expended top, EDG sending their jungler top, by transitioning into a dragon. A, because Swift is so far behind, but B, because Pawn and Deft have complete control over the bottom side of the map by themselves. So this is why you continually see Clearlove, hey, let's just be the Ryze.
Yeah. Definitely what he's doing here is Koro is now able to walk right into the middle of the lane against 2 people. Pawn wandering around, dodging some balls here in the mid lane.
How to lose every lane at once.
Well, Deft is going to head back to base. 61 to 60 as far as his respective lane opponent. Grabs himself a pickaxe, gets himself a pink ward as well, and some consumables. So he's well and truly getting to a point where the Sivir will be doing a bunch of damage, especially with those spells, with all of that flat AD. Swift helping Doinb out, starting off this blue buff, as Orianna definitely likes grabbing some of that mana. Dissonance not going to be enough, but the last auto attack is Clockwork Line-up, going to secure that buff for himself.
The one lane that hasn't lost is going to be Doinb versus Pawn. Does have a CS advantage, about 10 right there. Likewise got the blue buff, and actually going the tier build on Orianna. We've seen some interesting things with the 5.13 itemization, including a Nashor's Tooth Ori and some of the global regions. Curious what Doinb is going to experiment with.
Doesn't have the smite, unfortunately, so no Red Wave to come in this time around. It is the patch for it, as we're on patch 5.13. It's not going to happen. Power of Evil. He showed us the way, but no one has joined him on his path. 800
damage per auto attack, just absurd.
It's pretty silly.
That's one word for it.
I actually really enjoyed Rageblade when I first started playing Orianna.
You still enjoy Rageblade?
I haven't played Rageblade Orianna for quite some time.
No, he plays Rageblade Karma every single time I duo with him.
Hey, look, we won that game. Okay, I went 9-2. You just get off my back. Okay? It wasn't me, and it wasn't the Rageblade, ladies and gentlemen. That was not why we won that game. But, needless to say, we do have the complete lane swap now, as Deft has headed back up towards that top side of the map to join Mako here. And Koro is down towards the bottom side, just soaking up as much as he can. TNT, you can see that auto reset from Deft does a lot of damage.
Should be noted, and the reason why he's doing more damage is because he's the itemization advantage, having the pickaxe. But it should be noted that V has shored up a lot of his CS difference. So it was 27 to 40 for a moment there, but of course Deft pushing that wave in, V was able to balance it really well, pick up a lot of that CS, and it has shored up the difference between him and Koro. Koro still with about a 10 CS lead, but definitely not the 30 that it was there for a moment.
Well, in goes V here. Koro actually down very low. Swift just going to get eliminated, though. Koro still burning down with that red buff. Wants to grab that passive proc, but V, he's not going to die this time. Onslaught of Shadows, though, was very optimistic, as we had a clear love waiting in the wings.
That's scary. 2-0-0 Rise right now with a composition that's built entirely around empowering him. Has the tier completed and it's doing ridiculous amounts of damage, which effectively no battle stats.
Pawn, once again, just walking towards his opponent. Shockwave comes in there, moves the ball around again. Pawn down to 200 health.
He's got wild growth.
Has to be so careful, but he was holding onto that ultimate for a very long time.
He knew he could win that trade. He was like, Doinb, I dare you.
He was just walking towards him. This is how his Lulu play works, is just keep walking at someone.
That's the idea with Pawn. I feel like he does the unexpected. You assume that the enemy mid laner will back off, and that's when Pawn steps forward.
Well, there's the wild growth now, as Swift did pay a visit here to the mid lane, but Doinb completely out of mana, can't stick around. Little Lance forces him to stop his back as well, as Mako makes his presence known as well.
Casual roam from Mako, that said, with the top tier tower down. Deft and Mako can now rotate into this mid lane and start pushing down this with their BF and pickaxe and Janna shield.
Yeah, and also almost kill Doinb there as well through the Command Protect shield. Of course, no extra AP apart from that Doran's ring in order to help out. But EDG just going to be able to take down the first dragon of the game now at 12 minutes into the game. It's still relatively late.
Yeah, joke's on me though. Top tower's still standing, so they rotated Deft and Mako down to secure this dragon. So curious now of where they're going to end back up. It looks like Koro is walking back across map towards top lane. I would assume that again, Deft and Mako will be sorted into that mid lane as the ping goes down from mid-tier tower, but it's from Qiao Gu. And Pawn may find himself in the bottom lane picking up that big wave.
Looks to be the case. Athene's on Holy Grail completed for the Lulu.
They're confused.
I think we're confused as well.
No, they're confused.
Ah, okay.
They made a mistake. Koro was running top lane, so he wasted a lot of time where he could have been farming, but Deft decided that he wants to continue to push top lane and keep Pawn mid. So Koro is now going to go back down to the bottom wave, which is effectively the open farm lane, because obviously V can't move that far forward.
Yep.
And Deft and Mako, since the dragon is down, are going to move back to the top side, since again you're not trading any sort of objective. You can move your numbers advantage to the top side of the map.
Well, 5 members here on the top side as TCT. Oh my goodness, not going to be able to get the stun on the Tibbers as Deft just spell shields it, and now he's just stutter stepping after him in pure Deft fashion.
Laughing.
Yeah.
Oh.
But classic deft maneuver.
How demoralizing is that, though?
Delomanizing.
Delomanizing.
Yeah.
Alpaca? I can't even.
Delpacalizing.
I wanted to make a joke off of llama for alpaca, but I think it was too far. I think that was the line.
It's a little bit too deep.
Yeah.
3,000 gold, though, is the lead for EDG, so they are well and truly ahead. And they were going all in with QG as far as that gank in the top lane, and just stifled by one spell shield from Deft. And you can see the result is he's all the way forward in this lane, farming this wave as it meets its counterpart here on the top side. And I believe that EDG now going to be able to get that top outer turret that they've been working on for quite some time.
So again, dragging down, they can play to the top side of the map. The reason why I called it an initial mistake is because Koro was not on the same page, was walking across mid lane. I was like, oh, I gotta go back bottom. Never mind, guys. Went on a little bit of a stroll, but they pick up the free objective, which now Deft and Mako can be moved into that mid lane to pick up the last outer tower.
Yeah, and I really like the itemization here from Deft as well. We spoke about it just before the BF Sword Pickaxe, and then into the Berserker's Greaves, making sure you can do as much damage to the turrets as possible. You don't need crit for that.
Yep.
So you get the components, grab some boots, and just run your way with your new shoes towards that lane and kill everything that you can find. Oh, is he going to be able to get a clear up? Not able to get in there in time, but might look for a bit of a team fight, as the stun from TCT was enough to stop that one from coming down. EDG, though, well and truly owners of this side of the jungle. Doinb can't even avoid getting Prey Sword at this stage. Prey Sword? I think I've used that before. Don't know whether it worked last time. Certainly didn't work that time.
That said, with all the resources of EDG kind of wandering around the mid lane as they were looking for a pick, V able to tap that tower once before he's immediately attempting to advance in the opposite direction.
Advance backwards.
Yeah, it's
Some
called
would
running
say
away.
Yeah, retreating, another way of describing that one, as Doinb is going to be able to utilize his new blue buff in order to clear out this wave without running out of mana. And I really like his build. Let's talk about that for a moment here, as he's built the new and improved Rod of Ages, going towards that Archangel Staff, as well as the Seraph's Embrace, still very, very powerful. And with the new build paths, a little bit easier to grab. And also going to be staying in time with Koro's build as well. So Orianna able to sort of just join him in that trough.
This is what I like to call the see you late game Orianna build.
It's like, I'm not here today. Not happening. It's going to clear up minion waves, guys. Don't worry.
See you at 10 minutes when all my items are stacked and I hit you for massive amounts of damage. Yep. Likewise, it'll also empower the fact that Orianna's naturally tanky with her E.
Yeah.
You'll get the Archangel's shield.
Hey, Clearlove. It's popping over with that Void Rush. Deft was taking the red buff. I would have loved to see him just smite the red move way through. That would have been freaking cool.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I'm going to grab this. Decided not to.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, maybe we're going to get caught out. There's the Ignite down as well. I have the Storm to try and
teleport.
save him from this. Oh my goodness. Doinb flashes forward, grabs himself a kill. V, though, going to continue now with the dissonance behind him. On the hunt has to be popped here from Deft. Does he have the spell shield? Avoids the fear from V. Clearlove around does knock up Doinb, but Deft has to be so careful now. The flash out of the way not going to be enough, as QG just too many members of the team. Clearlove deciding that he's going to try and engage on this one, but Corey with explosive damage. There's the wild growth onto Clearlove, keeping him alive for now. The Lulu doing a bunch of work, as Swift is going to get cleaned up by the Glitterlance. B as well going to get slowed down. Is there going to be another help picks? A double kill for Pawn, just with some auto attacks, and Koro forces everyone else out. And once the cavalry arrived, EDG come out with a decent team fight.
And this is where EDG excel. It's in these skirmishes. So Clearlove going back in on what looked like a suicide mission did end up going back down, but was simply to buy time for Pawn and Koro to get back into position.
Yeah, and of course, Pawn able to make sure that he picked up another couple of kills there at the same time, and you've got a 3-0-0 mid lane and top lane for EDG. And we spoke about this, the fact that Deft doesn't have to carry every single game, and he, look, died. Got a fair bit of damage down, but was out of position there in that fight. In the end, it was Koro and Pawn able to clean up, and when you've got a Rise at this stage, oh, TNT able to take that from Koro. Very, very nicely done with the Ardent Blaze. Lowest damage ability. To lock it in. Liked it a lot. But yeah, of course, Koro, he's working towards power. Doesn't have the Seraph's Embrace yet. Doesn't have the Rod of Ages stacked up. And Pawn, he was sitting on an Athene, so he wasn't doing too much either. But these guys now going to be so powerful moving towards the end of the mid game.
Is Pawn building towards a Luden's Echo?
Looks like a Zonya's.
I'm always very curious what kind of the Lulu itemization will be. I like to call the two different Lulu builds the Doinb build and then I would love to see Ryze. Curious what Pawn's second item is going to be, if it's going to be any sort of flat AP to augment his utility by giving his wild growth more.
Oh, that can
health.
also be a Raven's Death.
It can be so many things. Or if he's going to go for more of a penetration, damage-oriented build, like what Faker likes to do, which is he likes to go Lich Bane on his Lulu and just murder people. I personally am a fan of the flat AP to empower wild growth.
Yeah, V actually using the ultimate already. Koro with a lot of burst damage gets slowed by the Agony's Embrace. There's the Chilling Smite as well, but Rune Prison going to be enough to stop Swift's advance. They do pressure this Ryze away from the turret, but will they be able to catch up to him? Dissonance there for the speed up here. Swift waiting for the W, but not going to be there in time.
That said, the bottom tower under siege right now. TNT trying to clear that one up by using the culling. But Pawn has prepped a wave for the mid lane, and unfortunately Qiao Gu are out of position for this. Yeah, and Death's going to be able to easily take this one down. It is going to be a trade of turrets, but the inner and the mid lane, a lot more map pressure now available for EDG, and I'd probably take that trade if I was this side. Hashtag worth. Likewise, it will open up another elongated lane for Koro to continue to farm in. Yep. Speaking of Orianna's late game build, Ryze is like, see ya. Yeah. I'm not even in the game at the moment. That's not true. That Rod of Ages is starting to stack up. I think it's at about 4 at the moment. And does have a decent CS advantage as well, considering the fact that he is in a bit of a trough. But it was the Rabadon's death gap, so Lulu well and truly at a point of power. And I just love the fact that Lulu can build flat AP and gain a whole lot of defensive statistics for it as well, because of course the Whimsy Shield going to be empowered and the Wild Growth giving you so much more health is so useful. And your Glitter Lance and Hell Picks do heaps of damage. The thing that I love about Lulu is I call her a superficial tank. As I say that though, TNT may be murdered. Potentially here on the hunt is going to be blown. TCT needs to get the stun, but it's only on to Clear Love at the moment. TCT sacrificing his life for his AD carry. So beautiful here in the bottom lane. He died for TNT sins, especially because TNT was wandering towards the little gap in between the tower and the wall, which would have for sure given Clear Love a very easy knockup. Likewise, a very clean boomerang from Daft. Well, Pawn making his way around Swift. Yeah, they're looking for Koro here. He's able to pop the ultimate. Is he going to be able to get enough damage done? There's the Wild Growth. Koro's going to destroy Swift, and V's like, I'm out of here. Do not want to experience this one, as Koro's just running so fast with that Whimsy. He's going to get the Rune Prison. It is going to be there. The Baron's hanging around, just spectating this fight as V gets obliterated. And that's how this composition works. It's the Ryze Go Fast comp. Look at just on the Whimsy. And again, that flat AP is going to empower that movement speed. Exactly. So this is why I love the itemization coming out from Pawn, choosing to go for, again, flat AP versus penetration to just empower his Ryze, although runs into TNT for a stroll. Culling, not going to find too much, but that's a two-man ultimate from Doinb, but he's right on the wrong side of everything. Seraph Embrace Shield, is it going to be enough here? He's relatively tanky, actually, with that Rod of Ages, but not going to be enough at all, as he was in no man's land. EDG able to pick up that kill onto the mid laner of QG, and now continue their way around. Baron is available. Dragon not going to be available for another 4 or so minutes, as Trinity Force was completed by V, but it's not going to help him tank up in any of these team fights. More about skirmish. Normally they're much more consistent about playing from behind, kind of minimizing their losses, making sure that they don't get picked out, but I feel like continuously getting outmaneuvered and getting caught in, frankly, places that they shouldn't. Naturally, EDG's comp is very quick, though. Yeah, EDG are able just to transition very, very quickly. There's also the fact that QG are picking fights that they think that they can win, but EDG's always there ready, always waiting to turn around that fight. And because of that, they've created themselves an 8,000 gold lead. Yeah, or they're always in the area, and normal compositions wouldn't be able to get there that quickly, but the fact that you have 20 million movement speed buffs. 20 million might be an exaggeration. Slightly. You've got On the Hunt, you've got Tailwind, you have Whimsy, you have the Void Rush, and then you have Ryze ult. Every single one of those champions can very quickly and efficiently get around the map, and I feel like this is Qiao Gu's downfall. They keep thinking that they have an advantage, and if it was any other comp, they would, but here comes teleport.
Yeah, teleport in on the hunt's already been popped. Knock up onto TNT, who's going down very, very low. Oh my goodness, the wild growth with a knock up onto everyone. Deft flashing forward here onto Doinb. He's very low, but V can't keep up because he's so fast swift. He's going to get taken down as well, and Deft with some incredible kiting locks down almost the ace, grabs himself a triple kill, and TCT limps his way home.
One of the best Sivir players in the LPL, Deft making the most of Sivir's passive, kiting that backwards beautifully, weaving in his auto reset as well as his boomerang on the auto attacks themselves. Just gorgeous to watch.
Fantastically well played. And normally you can't get away from a Hecarim, but when everyone is so fast, very hard for that horse to do too much there. And the Baron's going to fall down. EDG, of course, take any opportunity to grab that buff that they can. Now going to go back and grab a bunch of items. So let's see this again.
So again, it's just the fact that everyone's stacked. Doinb does land a decent shockwave onto the back line, but EDG, this gold lead is speaking for itself right now. Pawn in perfect positioning to assist Deft with the Whimsy to allow him not only with the Sivir passive, but just that speed up to kite backwards. And again, this is the go fast comp.
Yeah, and the shockwave was on both of the main carries of EDG as well. It just softened them up, so theoretically V could get the work done, but just couldn't lock down Deft after he played it so incredibly well. Seraph's Embrace now completed by Koro, so that is a gigantic damage boost. And Deft went back and finished off a completed Last Whisper, as well as the immensely large rod now as well here for Pawn. Not deciding to go for a Void Staff, anything like that, because there's just not the tanky stats built up from these QG members yet.
And also, again, just stack on the flat AP. It's going to empower that Whimsy, that Wild Growth, and that Help Pick shield. And even if V had gotten a hold of Deft in that last team fight, the fact is that EDG have such a great spread of their gold. 5-0-3 on Ryze, 4-0-6 on Lulu, and 5-1-4 on Sivir. Even if Deft had gone down, it's okay. We used all of our resources. We took down the carry. Deft's, oh god, Koro's still alive.
Yeah, and oh god, Pawn's still alive as well, who does a whole lot of damage. And you think of Lulu as being this more facilitative mid laner that wants to just make sure that everything can happen based off everybody else, but you know, the Help Picks, the Griddlelands doing a lot of damage here as the Boomerang from Deft. You could see that on top of TCT doing a bunch of work, and EDG actually poking out quite nicely here as well.
Pawn rotating down to the bottom lane to apply Baron in multiple waves. I'm actually surprised we're not seeing Clear Love apply Baron in the bottom wave to pressure all three lanes.
Yeah, someone could head to that top side. Gale is going to knock Doinb up, but no aggression.
He's trying to empower his team with Tremor Sense over the wall because TNT, or excuse me, Qiao Gu have done a good job placing that pink ward there as they're going to clear out that ward. So he's empowering his team's poke. That's why he's not helping the slow push on the top side, is using the Tremor Sense. Yeah, and Tremor Sense as well, just to make sure that Swift isn't going for any cheeky flanks around the side. Another mini wave going to come in here as Deft actually going to tank up the culling as well. Doinb takes way too much damage there, as you can see. This turret down very, very low. EDG, they move their way in. They're going to break the base, grab the first inhibitor here in the mid lane at 26 minutes in the game. And EDG playing a far more accelerated game than last time and just showing their versatility once again. We've said this word many times, but EDG, it's just a different style one more time. More similar to their old style, but it's another way of playing League of Legends. And this is what's terrifying, and this is why they're the #1 team in LPL. They can carry from every single position. They can play multiple styles. They have massive champion pools across, again, every single position. What are you doing? He's going in. Yeah, there he is. The lockdown of TNT, able to get his way out with that relentless pursuit. But V, he's going to pay the price for it. Clear Love tanking up everything. But you can see Koro, he lost no health. He just walked up to 5 people. What are you going to do? He's massive. Yeah, no, you're not going to do anything, but it's still, just that fact alone is terrifying. 2 inhibitors down. 2 inhibs down. They do have a massive wave that will be prepped for the top lane, so they can very easily rotate back to that if they choose so. Although they did just get massive amounts of global gold off of these structures, so they can go back and spin that. A fair bit of money is available for this side. Red buff is available on the QG side of the map as well, so EDG could grab that if they feel like it, but Deft nowhere near it. And it might be that UG will be able to lock that one down for themselves. But now they've lost... Oh my goodness, Deft actually... Oh, what the heck? That Tibbers was fantastic. TNT is going to die as Clear Love just
Not going to take too much damage at all. Gets a double kill, actually, in the end. But Deft died. TNT doing what he wanted.
Deft whiffing the spell shield. Not quite on point that time around.
Might have been window shopping.
You know what? TCT, I'll take that as the victory.
Yeah, of course.
Missed it the first time, got it the second time.
Not bad. Well, BF sword now going to be completed by Deft as he sits in the death chamber. Oh, ultimate popped here as Doinb has to face the wrath of Koro. Nice two-man shockwave into the Agony's Embrace there as well. Wild Growth onto Pawn trying to survive this onslaught. Koro in the meantime just going to deal with Doinb, and Swift has to be very careful of the Rune Prison that is going to be incoming. Finds it in the end, but TNT, he's respawned. TCT as well. Culling not going to find too much as Mako trying to do some work here with that Monsoon. The flash into the knock. I'm not going to get it out, though, as he gets stunned beforehand. Koro just with so much damage. It just feels like a little bit of a ridiculous game now. Koro doing so much work. 7-0 and 6 on this rise. And EDG looking to finish off this game. Pawn just auto-attacking TCT. He's standing on the fountain. Koro thinks that he might be able to get some extra work done as Pawn just flashes out of the way. And EDG going to be able to clean up the 2-0 victory.
And this is the EDG that we're used to seeing. This is much closer to their style that they normally win with. So again, still seeing some growth, some evolution, some maturity from EDG. But unfortunately, Qiao Gu not quite the performance the second game as the first. I'm just going to ignore that.
Yeah, Nexus is going to fall down. EDG having a little bit of fun on the fountain there as it died, but my gosh, QG unable to find a win, and EDG continue to look so dominant on the Summoner's Rift of the LPL.
Taking down the elite teams. Now LGD, they're not elite in the standing, but when they faced against EDG, EDG just smashed them.
Yep.
Cut through Invictus Gaming, and now Qiao Gu, the third elite team to fall. See if maybe Snake or OMG can put up.
Well, they're going to be the next ones in line here, and we'll see whether EDG can find anyone that has the answer in order to deal with this side, because I honestly do not know what these teams are going to be able to do, because we saw their versatility on show. We saw the fact that they can play multiple styles, they can get multiple people ahead and be behind them when they're trying to get this work done. And look, we'll see whether anything is going to happen, but now with the full MSI roster, EDG look nigh unstoppable.
Rampaging through the LPL.
Yeah.
But again, I love the fact that we're seeing still some experimentation come out from them. Playing around with their compositions, obviously with their draft phase as well, making the most of that priority pick from blue side, grabbing that Rise pickup and building a comp all about Koro. Speaks to the strength of EDG. So many threats to deal with. Champion pools are massive. You can't ban them out. There's no liability. Who do you pick as the weakest member?
You don't. I don't think you do. You sort of look at the EDG lineup and you think, in my dream team, I'll take EDG. Thank you very much. I'm not actually entirely sure whether that is how it is, but all of these players play so well together that you'd never want to break them apart.
Yeah, and even when they were running a rotating roster with amazing Jay and Amy, they still continued to put up results. I mean, stayed on the top of the LPL from the very beginning. So their dominance has never stopped, and it's only starting to skyrocket. It
most certainly is, of course, picking up those 2-0 victories back-to-back. But, ladies and gentlemen, there is still one more series awaiting us this evening. WE going to take on LGD right after this short break.